Hi, this is section 7.5, Properties of Logarithms. So our big questions here, first of all, can I use the change of base formula to help evaluate logs? And then secondly, can I expand and condense logarithms using the log properties? So we've got two things that you should be looking for as we go through and do this lesson. So let's look at your frame. Properties of Logarithms is about, so fill in your is about here, it's about using properties to help rewrite logarithms. And the key thing here is we will use these tomorrow to help us solve equations. So we're just looking at some basic properties here that will help us evaluate the logarithms. And our so what, let's fill in our so what statement down here at the bottom. So what's important to understand about this is that these make simplifying logarithms, and I'm just going to put logs to make them much easier. Okay, that's our so what. These just make simplifying and even solving logs much, much easier. So let's look first at the change of base formula. So you know you can't put this into your calculator. You can't put log base C of A into your calculator just like that. But what you can do is use the change of base formula. And that tells us that the log of A divided by the log of C is the same thing. So this, instead of putting log base C of A in your calculator, you can put log A divided by log C, and it will simplify it. The thing you have to watch out for is make sure you close your parentheses in your calculator. If it puts parentheses in there, make sure you close them. Otherwise, you'll get the wrong answer. So why don't you pause it? Actually, let's set this up first, and then you can pause and try this on your own. So this would be log of 8 divided by log of 3. Pause this and put it in your calculator. Okay, you should have gotten about 1.893. And if you didn't get that, mess around with the parentheses in your calculator and try and figure it out till you do get that, because that's what you should have. For example 2, it would be log of 9 divided by log of 26, and again, pause the video and put this into your calculator. Okay, you should have gotten about 0.674. So if you didn't get that, again, mess with your calculator bit until you can get it, because you need to be able to get those correct answers. Okay, so here's a few logarithm properties, and these will help us in simplifying. When you see a multiply sign like this between two things, we split it up by turning them into addition. So this would look like log base b of m plus log base b of n. So we split it up by changing it into addition. So if you look here, we've got log, now it's base 10 since there's no base written, but we don't have to write that, of 2 times x times y. So we're going to split this into 3 pieces, all separated by addition. So this would be log of 2 plus log of x plus log of y. And that's how it would simplify. When we have division, we have log base b of 2 numbers divided. We simplify that by changing it into subtraction. It's actually called expanding it. We're making it larger. So this would turn into log base b of m minus log base b of n. So here, this is a division problem. The x comes first, so we're going to put that first, and then separated by subtraction, and then log base b of 3. So this would become log base 2 of x, and instead of the divide by, I'm going to put minus log base 2 of 3, and that's how that would simplify. And the next rule, the third and final rule here, is if I have log base b of a number with an exponent, this exponent can get moved all the way out here to the front. So we just take this exponent and move it out to the front. So this would become n times log base b of m. That's multiply, so I'll put the sign there just to make sure. So looking here, we've got x to the 6th power, so we're going to move this 6 right over here to the front. So it'll be 6 times log base 5 of x. So we're going to use this to help us expand logs, and it makes solving quite a bit simpler and simplifying quite a bit simpler. So flip. This isn't a frame, we're just going to get some practice, so I highly suggest pause the video and try these right now. Pause them and try them, and then you can see if you get them correct. So this is a division sign. Division tells us we change it to subtraction. So you should have log base 4 of 3 minus log base 4 of 7. And we just want to expand it. We don't want to simplify here. We're just trying to expand. This right here is a multiply sign. So we change multiply into addition. We're going to separate it and put it into addition. So this will become log base 4 of 3 plus log base 4 of 7. This next one gets a little trickier, so we've got division, so we're going to have log base 4 of x minus, and then we've got two things multiplied, so that becomes multiplication. So this looks like this, log base 4 of x minus log base 4 of 3 plus log base 4 of y. Our next one here, we've got a couple things going on again. We've got some multiplication. So we're going to separate these two things with addition. And we've also got a couple exponents here, so we're going to have to move those two exponents out to the front. So this will become natural log of x, and instead of having that squared, that 2 here, it should come out to the front. So 2 times the natural log of x plus, then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So it'll look like this. 2 times the natural log of x. So again, this 2 came from being the exponent. And because they're multiplied, I'm going to say plus, and then I'm going to say 1/3 times the natural log of y. And this 1/3 came from the exponent here. We've got a little bit longer problem here. We've got a bunch of things multiplied. So for all those pieces being multiplied, we're going to separate them by addition. And these numbers with an exponent will move them to the front of that piece. So to take care of the 5, we're going to say 5 times log. I'm sorry, I messed that one up there. We're going to start with log base 7 of 5 plus this x has a 3rd power, so that 3 should come out to the front. So 3 times log base 7 of x plus log base 7 of y. And then again, this z has a squared, so that squared has to come out to the front. So plus 2 times log base 7 of z. So we've got log base 7 of 5 plus 3 times log base 7 of x plus log base 7 of y plus 2 times log base 7 of z. So those were all expanding. They were making them larger. The next one we're going to do is condensing. So we're going to make this smaller. So let's look at the pieces that we have here. We've got an addition sign. So I know I need to multiply this 40 and this 1/2. But we've also got a 2 here, so this 2 needs to come up and be a power, an exponent. And then we've got another plus, so another multiplying, and then this x. So it's addition in both of these spots, so we're going to combine these things with multiplication, and we have to make this 2 an exponent. So we make it all into one. It's going to be natural log of 40 times, we've got that 1/2 and we've got a squared, and then times the x. Now if you notice, we can simplify 1/2 squared times 40. So let's do that. So this becomes the natural log 1/2 squared is 1/4. 40 times 1/4 is 10. So it's the natural log of 10x. This next one, again, we've got addition, so we're going to have to do the 9 times the 2, but this 3 is going to have to come up and be the exponent. So it's going to be 9 times 2 to the third. Then we got that minus, so then we're going to have to divide now by 3. So let's try this. So this is the log of 9 times 2 to the third. And that whole thing then needs to be divided by the 3. And if we do a little bit of simplifying here, 9 times 2 to the third divided by 3 is 24. So this is log of 24. This last problem here, we're going to go back to expanding. So I've got 5 times x to the third. So we know these two things have to be separated by addition, and this 3 needs to go in front of that piece. Then I've got divided, so I'm going to change that to to subtracting. Then I'll have log base 6 of y. So this is log base 6 of 5 plus 3 times log base 6 of x. So let's just make sure this 5 and then the addition changed to times. This 3 becomes the exponent. So 5 times x to the third, that's right. Now that's all on the top together, those two things are, so we're going to put parentheses around this. Minus log base 6 of y. And that is all for this lesson. If you have any questions, make sure you starred them so that we can go over them in class tomorrow. And have a great night. Make sure you can answer your big questions here, though. At this point, you should be able to use the change of base formula to evaluate logs and also expand and condense logarithms. So you should feel comfortable doing those two things at this point. Have a great day.